but we have had in the past issues with Chris Rose getting into VMix.
Yeah.
Today, we have no issues with Chris Rose getting into VMix, and with that, we are now joined by the one, the only Mr. Chris Rose.
Clean signal. Look at him.
That is
Look at him.
And we gotta put voice of the Browns on his resume now. You know, you're out here doing your thing.
No.
He's bumping the brakes on that real quick.
Filling in for a legend. Don't. Please do not say voice of the Browns. That's that is unfair. Jim,
how's it
hopefully
going for
will
you,
be
though,
back
Chris?
soon.
How's it going for you?
Well, in terms of there's wonderful people there. I mean, Nathan has helped me out a ton. Gibby, who's their awesome producer, their entire crew have just been very welcoming during a real trying time because, and I've said this all along, I don't want to be doing these games. Nobody wants me doing these games at all because that means that Jim is healthy enough to be in the booth and doing what he loves and is so great at. And listen, I've known Jim a long time professionally. I haven't lived in Cleveland during the time, that he's been doing the Browns games. But I've always had an immense amount of respect for him just as a person and his ability as a broadcaster. That went up exponentially after my first game against the Steelers. I texted him afterward and just to check in on him. And I said, by the way, you are great at your job. Not that I didn't know that to begin with, but it's so much more true now, having sat in that seat for a few games. Just it takes a special talent to do what he does at that level.
Yeah, radio play-by-play of the NFL game is no joke. And I'm with you, Chris. No one does it better than Jim. And I know a lot of people think that their local broadcaster or the broadcaster of their team is the best. But, we've talked all day long, forever and ever, about how lucky we are to have Tom Hamilton and Jim Donovan as the voices of the Guardians and the Browns. It's unbelievable. And I know that it is a tough seat to fill. I'm sure you're going to do it very, very well. And, we all have Jim's best interest in mind. We want him back as soon as we can. I wear this every day. It's the Jimmy bracelet. And by the way, if you want one of these, I know you do. If you want one of these, you can go to our website, WKYC.com, and you can get one of these. It says, "We stand with Jimmy." I'm starting to see a lot more of them throughout Cleveland. So, Chris, your thumbnail of the whole Deshaun Watson, he's going to play on Friday, he doesn't play on Sunday. Stefanski's comments on Monday, he was cleared by the team. It was his decision. And then what Andrew Berry had to say yesterday, saying, look, it was more of an organizational decision. What's your take on the whole thing?
My take is this, is that I don't care what we in the media say. I don't care what the fans think about it, to be honest. I only care about how it goes over in the locker room. That's it. That's all that matters. And if the players have a problem with it, because you've heard some reports about that, I don't know if it's true or not, then that has to be addressed. And Deshaun has to talk to, whether it's the entire team or certain players, in order for this team to gel and get to where it wants to get to. The rest of the noise doesn't matter, because as much as we all kick and scream in this industry, and we say this has an effect on a team and that has an effect on a team, the clubhouses and locker rooms at the professional level are very insulated. And I think fans would be shocked to know how little gets in there. They just don't care about a lot of stuff. And this is something that hopefully they will be able to move on from. But if there has to be a sit down and a discussion, then that's okay.
It's two different possible ones, Chris, because it's Deshaun Watson and his teammates, and it's also the comments Stefanski made. Was Deshaun Watson bothered by that? I'd be curious to see if he and Stefanski need to have a conversation about that. Because I know Richard Sherman said to our own Tyvis Powell, who's not here today, but Richard Sherman said, man, Stefanski shouldn't have done Deshaun Watson like that. And he said that off the air, so it wasn't like he was being on TV, trying to make something out of nothing. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see if there's any fallout from that.
Yeah, so let me get this straight. Richard Sherman, one of the guys who said that Pete Carroll was misguided when he treated Russell Wilson unlike the rest of the Seattle Seahawks, that's the way he felt. Like, to me, that's weird. I don't know, maybe, right? I mean, if...
I don't know. I'm not sure what one has to do with the other, though.
Well, I mean, he's treating a quarterback just like any other player.
Oh.
I mean, at this point. Is he not?
Well, but no, because I don't think Stefanski erred, but he usually says nothing in the press conferences. And when you say when you say that the player is cleared to play, it can be inferred that you're suggesting he should have played but didn't want to.
But he did come out and say that Deshaun Watson knows his body better than anyone. And this is where I'll defend Deshaun, is that you have to look out for yourself. You have to. Because if you don't, nobody else will. And it's also possible he said, listen, I can't throw the ball with the type of velocity that I need to in order to beat this defense. So if I'm out there, it's just because I know what's going on with the offense. I've been in the league now for 7 years. There's nothing out there that's going to surprise me. And we know that's not going to be the case with DTR. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I imagine that there's conversations that have to be had.
Yeah.
If this is the thing that's going to derail this franchise this year, then there are bigger issues than we know there are.
Fair.
I mean, it just doesn't, to me, that this can't be the thing that stops the season. They're 2-2 through 4 games. They probably feel like they should have won that Pittsburgh game, even after what happened to Nick Chubb. But it's 2-2 in a muddled AFC at this point.
Yep.
There's still plenty to get out there and do.
You know, Chris, we kind of talked about the different position groups, and we talked about, you know, the position groups that we thought before the season might have been an issue. Maybe the linebackers. We feel the linebackers have played pretty well. You know, they obviously got the defensive tackle position figured out through free agency. One of the groups that I'm kind of disappointed in is the offensive line. Especially, you know, there's a lot that people, you know, put on Jed Wills, and I've been critical of Jed Wills. But, you know, the veterans, Batonio and Teller, haven't played up to what we're used to seeing. Is that something that the Cleveland Browns have to figure out if they really do want to get back to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it's, to me, though, the figure out is play better. You can't go shopping at the left tackle shop. There's nothing that exists during the season. Like, if you say, well, let's get better at left tackle, let's make a huge trade for a left. Go ahead, tell me. I'll wait. I mean, do you really want, like, Garrett Bowles? Is that your answer to improving the Browns? A guy who's okay, you know? And so
I mean,
he's
way better than Jedrick Wills, though, Chris. No?
Maybe. I mean, so if he is, why would Sean Payton get rid of him? He's trying to build a team and an identity out there. Why would he just, you have to look at it from, like, the other team has to be willing to trade too, right?
Right.
And you could say, well, Denver's not going anywhere, so they'll take a 4th-round pick for Garrett Bowles. Are we so sure about that? Like, I'm not so sure that that's going to happen.
I don't think it would be a 4th round. I'm looking at, I can't think of, is it Trent Brown, the Patriots left tackle?
Correct.
Trent Brown. I'm looking at, you know, and again, we don't know, but if the Broncos and Patriots think, like, Trent Brown is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And maybe Bill Belichick's thinking, well, I could turn Trent Brown into a 2nd-round pick.
2nd-round pick?
Yeah. No?
No.
Why not?
For a guy who's in the last year of his contract that's at his age?
I'm trying to win.
And
I mean, if I make the playoffs, it's a late 2nd-round pick. What the Browns haven't done much with a lot of their draft picks anyway. I mean, I got a chance to get
No, but I'm saying, why in the world would you give up a 2nd-round pick for an aging tackle?
Because he's really good. He's a top 10 tackle in the league still, even at his age.
Oof. Yeah, I don't think that would happen. I just don't see that.
So whatever it would take, I'm just saying, like, if you think it takes less, then that's even better. But I'm saying, why wouldn't you? Like, I mean, Jed Wills is one of the worst tackles in the league. He is killing their offensive line. So, I mean, even if you got a mediocre guy, that would be a lot better than a bottom 5 guy.
Yeah, it's been a real problem, and
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised they picked up his fifth-year option.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think that they're going to move on from him. I think that's my guess is that's part of the equation is they're going to look at Bill Callahan and say, listen, you're one of the best in the league. Let's figure it out and let's make it better.
I always hate
obviously,
that kind of thinking, though, Chris. It's doubling down on a bad decision. And I know that's what NFL GMs do, but I hate it.
They do, Jay, but so let me just finish this. That I work in the preseason with Joe Thomas, who we all think is probably a pretty good tackle. And Joe says this, not because he's affiliated with the Browns. He says, listen, Jed Wills has all the talent to do it. He's got to finish the job. It's still there. Like, he keeps saying he wouldn't move on from him. He's disappointed in the way that he plays. And I don't want to put words in Joe's mouth, but that's what he has said about him. So, I have to listen to him. He knows a lot more about offensive line play than any of us. There's no question about it. So I was surprised that they picked up his fifth-year option. I will say that much. And I just don't know if it's as easy as looking at Trent Brown. If the Browns could get him for a fourth-rounder or a fifth-rounder, I'm in. I'm not sure I'm giving up a second-rounder for an aging Trent Brown that doesn't finish seasons.
Well, listen. Well, now this is turned into Chris. Do you like this player? Or do you don't like this player? Now, what are your thoughts about Jerome Ford in the running back room? How do you think the running back room is held up after Nick Chubb? What do you think about Kareem Hunt? Do you think Kareem gets more involved in Pierre Strong? What are your thoughts about the running back room in general?
I think Kareem was brought in to be a guy that touches the ball 6 to 10 times a game. And that's kind of where he is at this point of his career, in my opinion. I thought last week we quit too early on the conventional ground game. I would have liked to have seen us, we got right inside the 20 after the long pass interference penalty, and we ran the play to Elijah Moore, which I think will probably be ripped out of the playbook after that one.
Should be.
That's my guess. Yeah, we could take the two plays that lost us 20 and 18 yards in a game, right? I mean, how would you like to have lost 18 yards on a play, and that's not your worst offensive play of the day?
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, that's a bad sign. So I can't judge Jerome Ford yet. It's not fair because the Tennessee defense, nobody runs on them. Nobody. We threw all over them. Nobody runs on them. And then last week, it's hard to judge when you've got a guy who's a fifth-round rookie quarterback. It really is. So I want to see us a few more games before I say, the running back situation's just not working. And I wouldn't trade anything for Jonathan Taylor. That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Zero.
Well, the next effort is going to be tough to do that, obviously, with San Francisco coming in here next Sunday. It's going to be, either way, no matter what you try to do against this team, this is one of the best, most well-rounded teams in the NFL. And it's going to be one of those games that could surprise fans in a good way. I don't think it's going to surprise fans if they lose to San Francisco. When you look at the schedule, and we did this earlier in the show, we looked at the schedule and what's coming up on it. A lot of those games that when the schedule first came out, we thought were going to be a little easier than they might end up being now. I think Indianapolis, they beat the Ravens. The Cardinals aren't much, but they did get past the Cowboys. When you look past the San Francisco game, what do you make of the next stretch of the schedule?
It's going to determine the season. It's pretty simple. Yeah. After 9 games, you'll know exactly where this team sits because they've got games that are winnable after San Francisco, right? At Indianapolis, if you are a playoff team, you have to win that game. You have to. And Seattle, they're a tough team, man. They are tough. They've got a lot of talent around. They've had 2 outstanding drafts in a row. They have really built up their depth nicely. I don't think we're going to give up 10 or 11 sacks, but man, they're coming after you. They are coming after you. I'm not worried about the Cardinals. I don't think that that's a problem. And then that Baltimore game could be the one that gets you back into the division, right? That's the one you have to circle. If hopefully Deshaun is full bore by then, and and we'll see. But these next 5 weeks are enormous, absolutely enormous not only for the season, but I have to be honest with you. I think in terms of the trajectory of where this management coaching group goes.
No doubt. No doubt.
Because if it doesn't happen this year, there's going to be a lot of new faces in that building
100%.
next year.
Could be.
Got to win.
Yeah.
Got to win. Got to make the
Could be.
playoffs.
All right, Chris,
Thanks.
great stuff, man. Continued great calls on Sunday, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Always appreciate it, boys. It's always fun. Take care, guys.
You bet.